Welcome everybody to Command Combat Battle Reports. Today we're doing Combat Mission Final Blitzkrieg, and in it I'm playing the Germans, and Ed is playing the Americans. Ed is photographing his side's moves and placing them online, so you can see the American moves at the website listed in the description. This scenario involves 4 objectives that each of us want to claim. We don't need to hold any of them, we just need to walk over them. We each have infantry forces supported by a little machine gun fire and some mortars. I also have a sniper to help out. Let's get started. I'm beginning by separating my forces, sending the infantry to the south to claim the objective by some buildings, and the HMG and sniper to a hill on the north to see if the Americans are up there, and if so, pin them down until our infantry can get there. They're all marching for a while without any contact from the enemy. In fact, the sniper and HMG have made it all the way to the hill, and the infantry has made it all the way to the building without making any contact with the enemy. The infantry makes sure to walk over the objective to take it, and they continue to wait for the enemy. For quite a while. So where is this American army we've been hearing so much about? Well, the goal is for us to take all 4 objectives, so we might as well do that. It wouldn't be smart to do it with my special teams, so the infantry is shifting north to take that objective. I'm first sending only a small team up while the rest hold the house objectives. But not seeing anything of the enemy, they slowly send more and more infantry northward. The sniper and HMG continue to keep a lookout for the enemy, and at long last they make an appearance around the buildings at the northernmost objective. It's just in time, too, as we just received reinforcements up in the north. The special teams engage the enemy while the infantry from the south and the reinforcements hurry to join them. We're starting to see more of the American infantry. It appears their whole force is here. This works to our advantage because, if this is true, they're all bundled up there. We can hold them in place and bombard them with our mortars. To keep them there, we're sending some of the reinforcement infantry around the north to flank them from the side, and we're bringing the rest of the infantry up from the south to wrap around their side there. The Americans have spotted the northern infantry and plastered them with fire. Our survivors pull back in disarray, but our HMG and sniper are still in place, and the southern infantry is closing in. Some of the southern infantry is maneuvering to the west, ducking below the dip in the road to remain hidden. They're going to try to get behind the enemy position. Meanwhile, the spotter, who's been up with the sniper and the HMG, has called in mortar fire. The southern infantry has stopped moving to the west and has moved up to the American right flank. They're ready to assault, but they want to wait for the mortar fire to break up the American lines before they go in. One unit sees an American mortar moving by, so he maneuvers to investigate. Just as he gets to the base of the hill, he's fired on by Americans up on top of the hill. The rest of them on the south get into position and hunker down. They keep an eye on their left in case the Americans on the hill come down after them. The tree cover should be strong enough and they can't be spotted through the woods. They're all waiting for the mortar fire. And waiting. And waiting. The spotter finds that his communication has been cut. For some reason. So the mortar now has to run up the hill and spot for himself. Everyone has to wait for him to get there, so they all hunker down and stand by. The mortar gets into place and is preparing to fire. Everyone is ready to go. And suddenly the Americans appear behind the southern infantry. They pour flames into them with their flamethrower. The men are burning alive. They're being gunned down. Oh, the humanity! The southern infantry is starting to retreat into the clearing, which is where they were going to go anyway. But now the mortars are finally firing there. So their commander orders them to lay down in the tall grass and hold their ground at all costs, facing the southern onslaught. They do so, and they hold off the attack. Meanwhile, our encroachment on the north is noticed by the Americans, who gun some of them down and hold them in place. The mortars have finished firing, so it's time for the Germans to make their move. They rush the house and get inside. The infantry in the center also moves in, but they're pushed back as soon as they get to the clearing. The Americans now counterattack with their southern infantry running along the base of the hill. Some of the central infantry has gotten into place and fires at them. They're taking them down en masse. It's a slaughter. That guy's blowing himself up with a grenade. Those 2 guys think they're surrendering to somebody. It's mass hysteria. Our men are pushed out of the building, but the mortar starts dropping smoke so the infantry can get back inside. And so they can take the objective. And now we make our move from all directions, huddling into the cover of the smoke. They're taking heavy fire from the church. The wrath of God seems to be on the side of the Americans. Our forces are pushed back just as the smoke is clearing. It's hard to see whether we stepped over the objective or not. And we have no idea how many of the objectives they've taken. But we are going to have to accept whatever we've achieved because the fight is now out of our men. They're pulling away from the clearing and they cannot be ordered back in. Plus the mortar is out of ammunition, so there is no more cover. The Americans, meanwhile, have maneuvered around the southern side. There's an objective on the hill the Americans have not yet gotten, but we hardly have anything up there, so we're rushing everything to that hill. Our men are running up one side while the Americans are running up the other side. It's a king of the mountain race. Meanwhile, an American unit has maneuvered around to the German base and is firing at the bunker. The mortar loading team, which forgot to go with the mortar, has spotted them and is maneuvering around behind the invaders. And our boys have taken the hill. They have gotten to the top first, and they have secured the objective. And the loader has captured the Americans and sneaked around behind the bunker. There's still a smattering of fire, but everyone is too exhausted to keep fighting. This battle is over, and it's a draw. We both took so many losses that neither side won. Isn't that just war in general? Well, that was an exciting fight. We sure hope you all enjoyed it. Tell us what you think both sides should have done in the comments below, and subscribe to see more. Also, like us here and on Facebook, and enjoy our mini videos. Happy gaming, everybody!